And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show, episode 184. We have a three-man crew, soon to make it a four-man crew later this evening. We got Jonka, we've got Brandon L, and myself, Danny Torres. We need to pray for Brandon H because he is.
The game's not over yet. Why are we?
He's going through it. He's having mental anguish right now. He really is. You should have seen this man, Brandon. When Caleb Martin destroyed the Celtics.
Okay, but come on. That was like damn near 3 seasons ago. Like,
I know, but I'm just telling you, when that was happening, he was going through it. Ask Jaka. He was having mental breakdowns. So this is very tough for him.
Well, wait. Jason Tatum is being rushed. Being like helped on off the court.
Oh yeah,
something's bad right now.
All right, well, if that's honestly the case, then Boston's not winning the series. I mean, it just got
as if they're going to win anyway.
In a matter of, 25 seconds since we've gone live, it's gone from bad to worse for Boston Celtics fans. But I don't know. It kind of looks like he's grabbing his ankle.
Yeah, it looks like he's grabbing his ankle.
We've known he's had an alien wrist problem that he had in the first round series. But from my viewpoint, yeah, he's definitely grabbing the ankle. It doesn't look good at all. Yeah. I don't know if he twisted it or –
he was going for a loose ball, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even think the camera – I mean, he's nodding his head yes right now. I don't know what. They just went to a timeout. Yeah, I mean, this has gone from bad to worse for Celtics fans.
He looks in serious pain.
Hey, all I know is after this season, Boston Celtics are going to be abolished. And that's it. The downfall of the Celtics.
I mean, listen, as 3 Miami Heat fans here, we can't really say too much, especially after the Dallas Mavericks won the NBA lottery tonight. We certainly
Brandon,
can't.
listen,
bro. Don't talk to me about those people, bro.
I don't care. I just I hate Boston. I really do. So
I mean, listen, you can hate Boston. I hate the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there's always one professional sports team we all hate, but.
When I see their demise,
to be in Dallas' situation, had they not made the playoffs, it just gets funnier and funnier. Pat Riley choosing not to step down. I mean, it's just going to get funny. Whether Giannis comes here or not, I still think this is not a good basketball team. There's like Pat Riley said, and we'll get into it more tonight during his end of season press conference. He even said that there's going to be changes coming. What kind of changes, we really don't know. I mean, I'm sure Ira Winderman knows. We don't know. But as we're looking right now, it looks like Tatum's getting helped off by –
You can't even put weight on it.
You can't put weight on the one. Wow. And he had a dominant performance tonight. I mean, we were talking about it off camera. Boston was up by, I believe, as many as 14. Coming into the second half. They had a strong finish to the end of the first half. But, I mean, now they're just hoisting threes and missing shots. And it definitely looks like that the Knicks are going to go up 3-1. But, I mean, especially if you lose this, a star like Tatum, if he's gone for the foreseeable future, I mean, you might as well kiss Boston's chances goodbye. Because I don't see – I mean, there are teams in sports who can come back from a 3-1 series deficit. But when you don't have a guy like Jason Tatum – yeah, and Jalen Brunson just sinking a 3. It's probably a dagger. Nips up by 12. I mean, honestly, if I'm Brandon right now, I would just shut the TV off and just join.
We might not get to see Brandon.
I mean, look, Celtics are turning over the ball. Yeah, this has gone from bad to worse.
Listen, we might not even see him tonight. Yep. We might not even see him tonight.
Hey, I mean, speaking of dominance, though. The Florida Panthers, who were down 2-0 entering Game 3.
Let's talk about
that game last night. It's 2 words came to my head watching that game last night. Sergei Bobrovsky. I mean, and like we've always said, if we can get that kind of Bob that we saw during last year's Stanley Cup final, that we saw many games throughout the 2024 postseason run, a 23-save shutout, and the Panthers protected home ice like Toronto did in games 1 and 2. And now we got a best of 3 series here with Game 5 coming up this upcoming Wednesday night. I mean, first one to win 2 more games moves on to the conference final. If you're the Florida Panthers, you have all the momentum now, especially, I mean, Sergei, and then that late unnecessary hit
Yep.
Alexander Prokhorov. I mean, you can almost guarantee Kachuk, Sam Bennett, who had a masterful goal last night to put the Panthers up 2-0 late in the third period, which I believe right now we see. Wow, Jason Tatum's actually on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Started, so that obviously right there is not good news. He honestly, I mean, if I had to take a wild guess, and I'm obviously not a doctor, but I would imagine he probably sprained it if he can't put much weight on it. I mean, if he fractured it, I would imagine he's out for the entire playoffs. But
that's not going to be for 2 more days.
Brandon, what you were saying, the Florida Panthers against their opponent Toronto Maple Leafs in the last game, that looked more like the Florida Panthers that we're used to seeing, the Florida Panthers that won the Stanley Cup. Games 1 and 2, I don't know what that was. They looked tired. They looked lethargic. Bob was not playing well at all. Thankfully, Game 3, they were able to grind it out and win in OT because that would have been really bad. Really bad if we would have gone down.
I mean, when the Florida Panthers acquired Brad Marchand in the closing seconds of the NHL trade deadline, it almost seemed like a lot of fans were saying he's washed. He's not really going to do anything. It's, Bill Zito's just trying to take a hit here and see what happens. Brad Marchand has been a very good player since he's been here. And you can honestly say that Brad Marchand saved the Florida Panthers this season because, as Paul Maurice has said several times, if you go down 3-0 against any of these final 8 teams, very hard to come back. I mean, we could have been on this show tonight talking about either the Cats getting swept, Florida down 3-1, or the best case scenario, which is you protect home ice, you take games 3 and 4, and now you go back to Toronto tied 2-2. But listen, I didn't give up on this team when they were down 2-0. I told everybody if you were going to put money on this series, definitely put it on Florida, even though the series was 2-0. And we're seeing right now, like going off of what you just said, why the Cats were the last team standing this past June, because they get on the forecheck. They control the time of possession. They got hard-hitting guys like Sam Bennett. And when they got guys like him and you control the puck and you've got neutral times, and then you've got a guy like Sergei Bobrovsky who made a lot of incredible saves. We got to remember there was a lot of breakaways last night. And shout out really quick to Gustav Forsling. I mean, the guy continuously made plays. I mean, there was a play where he skated right next to, I believe it was Matthew Nyes. I would have to go back and see the exact play, but he's neck and neck with him on a breakaway, and he pokes his stick out just as the puck, and that was only a one. That was when it was 1-0 Florida at the time. So if you're a Florida fan, you were holding your breath the entire time, because any Toronto roll right there would have been a 1-1 game, and we could have possibly been looking at another overtime game. So shout out Gustav Forsling, shout out Sergey, and now, like I said, best of 3, and we'll see what happens come Wednesday night.
I think it's honestly, I'm quite surprised right now that the Carolina Hurricanes have a 2-1 series lead over the Washington Capitals.
Well, the problem with the Washington Capitals is that, they're old. I don't like to throw out the word old in sports, but I was honestly shocked that they performed the way that they did this season.
Yep.
If the dominoes fall the right way and it ends up being Carolina and Florida again, which would be a rematch, obviously, of the 2023 conference final. Again, Florida is just the better team. When you put the 2 teams together, Florida just matches up really well. I don't think this team is so talented depth-wise. They don't care if they have to start games 1 and 2 away from Amerant Bank Arena. This team is fully capable of winning a game outside of Amerant Bank Arena. And they've had it, aside from the first round series, they had it. Okay, obviously they lost games 1 and 2 against Toronto. If they advance to the conference final, whether they play Washington or Carolina, they're going to have to start games 1 and 2. And then if they advance past that, if they go to the Stanley Cup final again, they'll probably have to start games 1 and 2 on the road. But Paul Maurice has said this several times. This team is so talented. I don't think their main focus is, okay, are we playing games 1 and 2 in our building or on the other team's building?
Do you think it will be a rematch with the Edmonton Oilers?
It's not a silly question because I've been watching Ed. I mean, we all three of us know between Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, two of the best players to ever play the sport. It's not a silly question. I mean, I mean, gun to my head, I wouldn't be shocked at all if it's
because they didn't end the season. They did not end the season well.
Right. And Florida on their end dealt with a lot of injuries too. I mean, obviously guys were being rested. Paul didn't want to rush guys back, excuse me. And so each team is dealing with their own thing. But again, gun to my head, I would not be shocked at all if we're looking at another Panthers Oilers rematch for the Stanley Cup. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, and I can tell you right now, if it is that, don't think that this Florida team is going to go up 3-0 like they did a season ago, because this Oilers team is very, very good. They still have Draisaitl, excuse me. They still have Connor McDavid. I mean, this team, they still have Evan Bouchard. Like, they still have guys who are very well capable of producing.
Yeah, that would be. I'm telling you, I think that will be a much harder series this time around than it was last year. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, Winnipeg, they're going to make it. And we've seen them down right now, 2-1 to the Dallas Stars. So, and Vegas, a lot of people said Vegas as well. I think Vegas can still give Edmonton a battle.
Right.
But
they're down 1-0 right now.
Yeah. Vegas is down 1-0?
Yeah, Vegas is losing 1-0.
And 9 minutes in the first.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, Brant, I think the Oilers are such a talented team that it didn't matter where they finished. Once they got playoff time, it's just switch. They just turn on. Jonka?
Daniel, what did I tell you? What happened? And what did Brandon say? Remember what Brandon said at the beginning of this show, and what I texted you. If the Panthers were to win Game 4, they got the momentum heading into Game 5. That's it. Toronto is like legit crapping themselves because they know they're about to give up a 2-0 lead to the.
I don't want to say that this series is over because
I don't want to say that either.
Right, because
I'm not saying
Toronto's a very good team. Now again, Florida's just been the more dominant team on the offensive side, defensive side, goaltending, and you got to give credit when credit's due. Joseph Wall, who's been filling in really, really well for Anthony Stolarz. He had a phenomenal game last night. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the Panthers just dominated, won the game 5-0. I mean, Joseph Wall made a lot of incredible saves yesterday. It's just at the end of the day, the Panthers got the better goaltending. But this series is not over. Like, I was looking at the odds today. They got the Cats at plus 375 to win the Cup. Toronto's all the way down at plus 900. Like, they're saying that this series is over in 6 based off of the odds that I'm looking at. But I wouldn't say this series is over because we saw the 2 games that Florida played in Scotiabank Arena. Game 1, they trailed as many as by, I believe, as 3 goals they were down by in Game 1. And Game 2, it seemed like every time Florida scored, Toronto 20, 25 seconds later, boom, scored. So I wouldn't say this series is over. I mean, yes, you can definitely say Florida's got all the momentum now because of their last 2 games on home ice. But remember, now the Panthers, they had an off day today. They'll have a travel day tomorrow. And then it's just, back to the drawing board. We don't know, obviously, what's going to happen with Evan Rodriguez, who took a nasty hit by former Panther Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So I don't know what the latest is on that. I know Paul said during his press conference today that he was continuing to get evaluated. There wasn't any set status. Like, he wasn't cleared yet. But he also wasn't ruled out tomorrow on Wednesday night, excuse me. So that's, I guess you can say, good news that he hasn't been ruled out yet. But the fact that he hasn't been cleared yet kind of probably tells me that he might have a concussion and might not be able to go Wednesday night. Barkov, who thank God didn't take such a nap, because that was such a nasty, unnecessary hit by Matt. I mean, the score, it was already 2-0. It was out of reach, literally in the waning seconds of the game. And you just commit such an unnecessary hit like that. I thought maybe a suspension was coming. Obviously,
I think it should have been.
That did not happen. He just got fined the maximum amount by the CBA, which is $5,000. So again, I'm not shocked. I mean, these teams are just like when the Panthers play the Lightning. They obviously don't like each other, and it'll be curious to see. Even if Evan Rodriguez can't go Wednesday night, I mean, it's next man up. They'll probably go with Matthew Samoskevich. and they're going to just keep rolling. I mean, again, this is why Florida was the last team standing. I don't think Paul Maurice is too worried about it.
The issue I have with evaluating how good the Toronto team is because game one we didn't have Ekblad.
Right.
Evan Rodriguez did get hit dirty, so that should have been some sort of fine or suspension for a game, or some like power play for us because that was a dirty hit. Then the next game, they don't call that sticking or the tripping that would have given us at least a tie, and then all of a sudden Toronto goes in and just scores and they go up two goals instead of one, which we would have tied if that would have been us. I don't know. There's a lot of like missed. I'm not gonna say preferential calls towards Toronto, but it is kind of suspicious how things have gone, how the calls have gone Toronto's way, and all of a sudden that dirty hit on Barkov yesterday isn't being evaluated as a suspension, potentially suspension. I'm sorry, bro.
I don't. I mean, I was surprised a little bit that it wasn't a suspension, considering that Barkov's body was turned the opposite way, and he was a defensive skater. I mean, there's nothing in that situation. I mean, that you could seriously hurt. I mean, you can have a torn ACL, you can have a concussion. Like, to sit there and just run right through him and board him like that, I just that was so unnecessary. And the funniest thing that I saw out of it afterwards was the camera pan over at the end of the game, and you see Tkachuk is kind of smack talking William Nylander, and he's kind of winking his eye and saying, "I'm gonna get you next game." So you can almost guarantee, like, I'm ready for the puck to drop already on Wednesday night, because I want to see what's going to happen, because I have a feeling someone's going to take a brutal hit come Wednesday night. Now, whether it's going to result in a 2-minute minor or a no penalty or a 5-minute major, I don't know, but I can almost guarantee that Florida players are definitely going to remember that hit, because we saw what happened in last series against the Tampa Bay Lightning with what Ekblad did to Brandon Hagel. So
I got a question for both of you. If Ekblad was not suspended for that one game, or I think it was 1 or 2 games, if I'm correct.
It was two.
For game one. For game one of this series. If he had played, do you think the Panthers would have won game one?
I mean, I think they would have played much better on the defensive side. I mean, Seth Jones and puck luck was not going Sergei's way. If you watch game 3, I mean, the puck literally bounced right off of Seth Jones's knee and went into the net. So I don't know if it would have made such a huge difference, but Aaron Ekblad is a very good defenseman. I mean, you look at last year's run to the Cup, he shut down the top skaters in the league. So I don't know. I mean, Florida defensively in that game 1 when they were trailing 4-1 did not look good at all. So, I mean, I won't hesitate to say that Florida probably could have won the game had Aaron Ekblad been there.
My answer, I agree with Brandon. I think they would have played better, but I'm going to say no, because I think collectively as a unit through games 1 and 2, they did not play good. And I will
say the third period, though, in that game 1, when they scored like 2 goals in a span of almost 2, or it was like a minute or 2, when they were down 5-2, and then it was immediately 5-4. Like, they found their mojo at the end, but it was too little, too late when you're trailing.
That was game 2.
No, game 2 was when I believe Barkov scored on the power play first, and then Toronto tied it, and then Marchand scored, and then Toronto tied it, and then Toronto went up 3-2, and then Lundell tied it. And then Mitch Marner had a weird turnaround, and then he just threw it into the net. And again, it was another puck-led shot that bombed.
Well, it's something Paul Maurice touched upon in his press conference, where he said it's very refreshing to start a game and not go 1 goal or 2 goals down starting out the first period.
Right.
So
you remember, too, game 3, Florida, it felt like in a blink of an eye, on home ice was down 2-0. So right there, you can tell. I don't know. I mean, the players are so talented depth-wise that they probably weren't as worried, but you can definitely sense that crowd at Amerant Bank Arena was starting to bite fingernails, because 2-0 down, you really have to win, because like we mentioned earlier, to go down 3-0 against this very good Maple Leafs team would have been like a backstabber. So it's really nice to see that Florida was able to protect home ice. And like I said, we'll move on to Wednesday and see what goes down.
And that's something I told Jonka. When he asked me a question the other day, pretty much saying that this series is going to be over. I told them I wouldn't say that just yet. I agree that we have momentum, but Toronto has not been easy at all. And much respect to them, they've made it difficult. They have made life difficult. John, were you going to say something?
Yeah, it's like Maple Leafs. I'm seeing here after the first 3 games, they've scored 14 goals. Obviously, they didn't score yesterday.
4 goals, you
How
mean?
many? No, I got 5 here.
Oh, you
Maybe
mean like including
total.
the entire series?
Yeah. So far, they have 14. Heading into Game 5, what do you guys think the score is going to be? How many goals do you think each team is going to score?
Well, I mean, it's if you look at the first 3 games, it's been 5-4, 4-3, 5-4. So
Yeah.
everybody thought last night's game was going to be like a 6-5, maybe a 5-3, and then here's that Bob, like we said, that Panthers fans know and love. So I would love to see obviously a 4-0 Florida win on Wednesday, but I could also envision it seeing another high scoring game, but it wouldn't also shock me with the momentum that Bob's coming off from that Game 4 shutout. It wouldn't shock me to see him put up another. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to have another shutout, but I mean, it won't also surprise me too if he only gives up 1, if not 2 goals.
I think from here on out, it's going to be a low scoring series. I don't think we're going to be having 6-5 games like we did at the beginning
Right.
of the series. I think it's going to be tightly contested to the end of this series.
I'm going to say Game 5. Panthers win 3-2.
Okay.
And it will not be in overtime. We're going to sweat it out again.
So let's move on to the next topic. And Jonk, I know you have a little bit to say about this as well. Reports are saying that Messi is 50-50 on signing a new contract with Miami, which is opposite to what we heard at the beginning of the year, that he was ready to sign it. And apparently sources say he was also on the phone call with the Moss brothers and David Beckham today. And John, I'll let you go first because I have quite a bit to say.
It's a complicated situation because I mean we all know what Messi brings to the table, but I just think I'm not no shade to Beckham, my boy, Jorge Mas, or anybody like that, the owners, but I do gotta say, besides Messi on your team, you got Jordi Alba and Busquets and Suarez, who in their own right, yes, they've had good careers in Europe, but overall, like they're old. They're not Messi level. Even though Messi's already getting up there in age, they're nowhere near his level. You got a bunch of young guys that are inexperienced, and I think you can see Messi already starting to waver at the fact like nobody's making runs, nobody's making plays. You got rid of Campana, Robert Taylor, Joseph Martinez, what the guy we just played against,
Julian Gressel.
Julian Gressel, that I think he should have been utilized a little bit more because he can make plays. He is a great passer.
Which, by the way, you know what he said? And this came out. You know what he said in the game against Miami? He told
About the 30-minute thing?
He said, wait 30 minutes. If we hold them for 30 minutes, we'll be fine. They'll be tired.
Which I would have to agree. I mean, you get Marciano as your new head coach or manager/manager. I don't understand. I mean, I understand that he's a defensive coach. Maybe you can try to maybe coach up the defense a little bit with the young players, but that does not help you in the moment. You have Messi. You need to score goals like you did last year, where you won the Supporter Shield for the most goals ever in MLS history. Like, I don't understand where this team is headed, and I think Messi sees that, and he's like, "Why would I continue trying not to win anything, or like try to risk my career getting injured potentially just to not win anything in the MLS when I can go somewhere else, or maybe even retire and just live out my life in Miami or whatever he decides to do." I don't know. I feel like he's on very thin ice right now. to be honest, Messi, because I don't. It, it's a real uncomfortable situation that he's in right now because he just feels like he's by himself, despite him playing with his friends. Like let's all call it out the way we see it. They're all his friends that he played with, and all this and that. But the fact is, I personally think if you would have started Robert Taylor or Campana over Suarez, the team's offense would have been played better. If you would have had Julian Gressel starting, you would have had better passing play. If you didn't get rid of certain defensive players and would have gotten rid of other ones that weren't producing, the team would have been further off in a better future. But things got done, and now we got to live through the pain again, and hopefully watch. This is gonna be Mascherano. He's gonna be a one and done.
Which would be terrible because they have ran through a lot of head coaches in their short existence. Diego Alonso only lasted 1 year. Then we had Phil Neville. After Phil Neville, they went to Tata Martino. Then after Tata Martino, here we are at Mascherano. So they haven't been able to hold. I think the longest coach we've had is Phil Neville. But I will say, Jonka, everything you just said, you're talking about the issues. And this is no disrespect to my former boss, David Beckham. No disrespect at all. But after the disaster that we saw at the weekend, a 4-1 loss to Minnesota United, the worst in the Messi era for Inter Miami with him on the field, your takeaway was Minnesota United's social media trolling you guys and commenting on their picture and saying that they need to show a little respect. That's what you take away from it? I think that says a whole lot. I think they need to focus on their issues instead of just being upset because another team's social media trolled you guys. And I think the reason why you're getting trolled is I think you guys put yourself in that situation. You guys got Messi. The league, each team in the league had to pay money for another player to go to another team because what was sold to them was, this benefits the whole league and there will be more fans in the stands when they go play you guys. They've been really marketing, pushing Messi, Inter Miami. Everyone's down everyone's throats. And then, they have that level. We have Jorge Mas, again, no disrespect, but Jorge Mas saying we're going to be Real Madrid level. Yet, you can't get out of the first round of the playoffs against Atlanta United, the 8th seed, the worst team in the playoffs, a 3-game series with Messi on the field. You can't get out of that. This year, you hire a coach that has absolutely no experience. He was coaching 20-year-olds in Argentina. And if you look at the reports and what people were saying, they were saying he was a terrible coach. So he gets hired because of that. I mean, he gets hired basically because he's Messi's friend, and he's a terrible coach, and they have not been doing well. And I think they've been doing worse than what they did last year. They got bounced out of the U.S. Open Cup. They got bounced out of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. So pretty much you're left with Leagues Cup and the MLS Cup, which right now they sit 4th in the Eastern Conference. I call it Messi's and friends because that's what it is. He's got every one of his friends over here. And then they just try to please him by putting players around him that are from Argentina. They're not building for the future, which is going to be a problem once he decides to leave or to retire or whatever. It's going to be very bad, I think. And I don't know if Mascherano will survive. I will throw that in there. And what it seems to be is just a cash grab, which is the way a lot of the league sees it. A cash grab just to make money. And, if you just want people not to troll you, then win.
So is this like a possibly like another Miami Marlins situation where they just blow the team up, the team starts to lose its fan base? I mean, because I thought like Inter Miami was they're building a brand new stadium soon, and they got Messi, and all these superstars are coming, and now we don't even know whether Messi's going to be back.
If this team, at the way it's currently assembled, if they want to compete, they need to get rid of. Sorry to say it, they need to get rid of Suarez. They need another striker. They need another midfielder.
But they have just Jonka. You
They
said
had they
they
had
shot
Taylor and everybody.
themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. You know,
Seriously.
Suarez could have been subbed. You bring in Campana. The guy was scoring every time you put him on the field as a sub. You
Yep.
get rid of him for freaking Fafa Pico. What type of option to have is that? You know what was a big problem? They lost Chris Henderson, their sporting director, who was doing good. He was doing a good job. And you got Guillermo Hoyos, which, by the way, friends with Messi from Barcelona. So you can say that this is also partially Messi's fault for signing off on all of these things. And I'm going to say something crazy. I don't think he gives a crap about the MLS. I don't think he gives a crap about Inter Miami. I think that he's here to collect the major deal he's had from collecting revenue from Apple and from MLS. And I really don't think he gives a crap. And then, you know, when stuff starts hitting the fan, he's going to say, well, look at all the people you put around me. Look at all the terrible players you put around me. So that's what I think. But it's a terribly run club. And they're in deep trouble. And Mascherano said today, he says, yeah, we've got major issues right now. And players have not bought into his philosophy right now.
It's hard.
Beating the team.
I don't mean to cut you guys off,
No,
but it is hard. Like a first year of a new head coach, whether it's soccer, basketball, baseball. I mean, we've seen it time in and time out. First year, new regime comes in, wants their own thing, wants it done a certain way. You know, I mean, it could also be an instance where a veteran guy like Messi probably just doesn't want to deal with it. Or there's probably something behind closed doors that we maybe don't know about. He's going to – I mean, I don't know, some jaw-dropping news. We didn't think Luka was going to get traded. I don't know. Maybe Messi wants to retire fully from soccer. I don't know.
Listen, all I know is I would get rid of Suarez, get rid of Jordi Alba, and just maybe try to go for the I forgot his name from City.
Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, just try to go for the home run. If you compare him with Messi, that at that point will try to alleviate the atrocity on defense that this team still has to deal with. At least you're going to potentially be able to score every time you're on the opposite side, on your attacking side of the field.
I don't think it'll happen. One, because by the time the offseason comes, I'm sure he'll have a new club. And second of all, you good and hell well know they're not going to get rid of Jordi Alba or Luis Suarez. You know that for a fact. They won't do it.
No, I know that.
They won't do it. It's just they make poor decisions. Very poor decisions.
It's gonna take an act. Do you know who actually needs Inter Miami needs? They need a Pat Riley. They need somebody to say to Messi and to everybody else that's running the club, say, "Hey, I don't care what kind of star you are. We're making the decisions that benefits the team, not a single person."
Well,
because that's exactly what they need. That's how
they
the
had
team
that.
Run.
They had that in Chris Henderson, which, by the way, Brandon, I will tell you, Chris Henderson, as a sporting director, had to work with his hands tied.
Right.
Because he had to work with 2 years of the team being under sanctions from the league for punishment, with Jorge Mas being fined for signing a player under the table. So that's the type of mess we're dealing with, which goes to as well, Phil Neville had a coach with the 3-4 years or however long he was here for with his hands tied behind his back because of sanctions. Couldn't get, the best players because of sanctions. So they did have the Pat Riley, but again, poor decisions. And it's just to please Messi. And Chris Henderson said, all right, well, I'm going to Atlanta. I'm going to go be the sporting director in Atlanta, build something over there. And
At
he's
this
proven.
point, I just think, I mean, if nothing happens with the Messi thing, it's a nice story to tell our kids about.
No, basically all you say is, yeah,
Yeah.
Messi came here and he played here. That's it.
Yeah, and then, but if
And
that's
he had some nice signature moments and won people money and probably lost people money as well.
Yeah.
I feel like if this team wants to move forward and just have a restart, get rid of Messi, get rid of Suarez, just have a full restart and just have a fully young team and develop again, just try again because
I'm telling you right now, Jonka,
it's not working.
if by the time he retires or leaves this club, they did not win an MLS Cup, it will be the biggest failure of a signing in sporting wise. Business wise, they made their money. Sporting wise, biggest failure of a signing. It will be like saying LeBron James came to Miami and in those years he was in Miami did not win a championship.
And we know what happened the first year that LeBron was here. I mean, they were the big favorites to win. And Dirk and Jason Kidd and Jason Terry were all those. I mean, I'm not going to say no names because of course everybody knows Dirk, but that first year that he were the talk of the town.
Brandon, just listen how bad this is. They finished.
I honestly, as you guys already know, I've told you this plenty of times before you say what you're going to say. I don't watch soccer. I don't care for soccer. I know we have a huge Latin culture here. I do not care about soccer. I support everybody who enjoys going to Inter Miami games. I mean, I haven't even been to an Inter Miami game yet. Like I have no interest. It's nothing personal. It's just a sport that I never got into.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool to know that I live in the same city as where Messi plays soccer. But it never attracted me to still go, even though we had the best player here.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you two things. One, and Jonka knows for a fact. When I worked there, you can get tickets for $6. Nobody would go. Right. Messi showed up. Obviously, the Messi effect. Everybody's in Miami.
Absolutely.
Everyone cares.
Absolutely.
Everybody cares now. But I'm telling you, with the way things are going, the moment that man leaves, I'm going back to $6 tickets.
That's why my question to you earlier was: is this another situation like the Miami Marlins, where
it could be?
We have our marketing team doing Barbie night on Friday night and Japanese Heritage Night and Cuban Heritage Night and again I'm a born and raised a Marlins fan. Currently cover them. I have a season credential for them, so I'm there quite often. But I'm also not gonna hide from the fact that this Inter Miami situation could possibly be like a Miami Marlins situation where you lose your star player, you trade away a bunch of players. Well, don't expect to see 25,000, 30,000 fans. Expect to only see what the Marlins get, which is between 5,000 and 7,000 a night.
I can see this situation only from the beginning of the whole Messi thing being done just to build up enough money to pay for the stadium that they paid that they personally paid for so they can recoup that money back. I think Messi signs for one more year, and it's gonna be that first year that stadium is built, and then that's it. He's gone after that one opening inaugural season, and he's gone.
Could be, but the last thing on this topic, Brandon, I just wanted to tell you how bad it is. They finished last season the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They won the Supporters Shield, and I will tell you what the Supporters Shield is. Supporters Shield goes to the team that has the overall best record in the league. That's all it is.
Right.
They got that. They celebrated it in the locker room like they just won the damn league. And then they face, obviously, in the playoffs, 1 seed versus the 8th seed.
And wasn't this last season?
Yes.
Right.
They face the 8th seed.
And lost.
3-game series. They lost with Messi on the field. That's how bad it is.
Bro, what's sad, bro, is that Messi did as much as he possibly could, but the whole team was just trash.
Well,
Tata Martino would have lost. No
wait.
adjustments in those 3 games.
I mean, this is going to get bad. This whole interim. Our next topic.
Yep.
I know you. I'm going to let you lead into it because I know Jonka's not going to want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because I really, again, even though I'm born. I was born and raised a Heat fan. Could not care less about the direction of this franchise. But we did have Mr. Pat Riley, the Godfather himself, to the media. So what went down?
I think a lot of people, I didn't expect it. Maybe Jonka expected it. But we had a lot of people saying, this is it. Pat Riley may sit there at the table and say he's retiring. I, for one moment, did not think that was going to happen.
I will raise my hand and say I honestly thought that as well. I thought for a second the Heat were going to go in a different direction, promote Eric Spoelstra to an office role. Same thing like we saw with the Boston Celtics with Brad Stevens. And then let Pat Riley step down and find your new coach, whether it's someone in the collegiate level, whether it's an NBA assistant, whether it's somebody already on Eric Spoelstra's staff. There was a name floating around for a little bit, Florida's Todd Golden, but as we know, he just signed a big contract to stay in Gainesville. But as Pat Riley said himself, 80 is the new 60. So that right there shut down any, I'm going to retire here today, I'm going to officially call it. That shut that down as soon as he said that.
2 things. One, I didn't think that was going to happen because he's very adamant on getting one more championship before he retires. 2, this guy, Jonka over here, when I told him about this idea that you just explained, which I'm fine with the idea. You put Pat Riley into Pat's role and you get a new head coach like they did in Boston. This man said, no, I don't like that idea. Let's go get Bob Myers, who constructed the Warriors, because we all know Jonka loves to glaze the Warriors, anything they do.
Hey.
He says, let's go get Bob Myers and put him as our GM and let him construct the Heat. You asked me about that idea. I like your idea, Brandon. I like that a lot better. I think Spo, which we all know Jonka's adamant Spo hater. I think Spo knows what he's doing. Obviously, I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. But yeah, out of this press conference, they said pretty much all we got from is there's going to be changes. And I would love to know what those changes are. It might be we're going to go after Kevin Durant.
But this is like every Heat off season. Like we always sit here and say they're going to get Kyrie Irving. They're going to get Kevin Durant. Now this year we got Giannis's name floating around. And Giannis wants to go to a team with no state tat. Like this is the Heat's. This is like the life of a Heat fan and a credentialed media member every offseason. Yeah. Like this is what, like super, super random here, but I find it absolutely hilarious. And you and I, we all were talking about it off camera, how the Dallas Mavericks trade away their star player, Luka Doncic, and they win the NBA draft lottery and are in prime position now as the number 1 pick to select Duke's Cooper Flag. Like that to me is hilarious because weren't the Heat in like that 11-12 spot where they could have just not made the playoffs and maybe they could have won the lottery and they could have drafted Cooper Flag? Like it went from bad to worse tonight with obviously Boston's Jason Tatum going down, but you can also say it went from bad to worse with Heat fans having to watch Dallas probably get another superstar to pair with Anthony Davis and obviously once Kyrie Irving gets healthy again. But what else did you really expect Pat to say? I'm honestly surprised that he answered everybody's questions. I thought for sure he was going to turn down a lot of questions. I thought for sure he was.
And he said we're not running it back.
So right. Well, because there's no way that you can run it back with just Tyler and Bam. Like I think, and there's a lot of my colleagues have said it, a lot of people that worked in different news stations have said it. I think everybody should be on the table. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, like everybody should be on the table. If I can get 3 first-round picks, and I in that package includes Hero and Bam for Giannis, I'm doing it. If I get 3 first-round picks and Giannis in exchange for Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, see ya. I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but I believe everybody, because you can't run it back. We talked about this all season long. The Heat are not competitive right now. I mean, with the way the Eastern Conference is structured now, obviously with what's going on with the Celtics right now and Jason Tatum's injury, we don't know yet. Boston is still one of the best teams out there. You still got Indiana, you still got New York. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference.
Right, and you look at Giannis' situation. He's been rumored to the Knicks. How can you not sit here and you throw in Miami in there? How can you not sit here and be like, well, if I'm Giannis, I'm looking at New York and seeing what they're doing to the defending champion and be like, damn, that looks like a team I want to join.
Right. But I mean, he also could be sitting here and saying, well, look at what Eric Spoelstra has done with not the best roster. You looked at 2023, you looked at the bubble, you looked at, I mean, obviously you don't want to count 2012 and 2013 because you had 3 of the best players in the world during that time. But Eric Spoelstra, that 2023 roster, I mean, let's be honest, did we really think that 8-seeded Miami Heat was going to go to an NBA Finals and play Denver? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm nothing to take away from Eric Spoelstra. Love him. I've spoken to him plenty of times. He's arguably going to go down as one of the best coaches of all time. With the way he has structured his rosters, hasn't had the best roster, has dealt with a lot on the court, has dealt with a lot off the court, but he still keeps it as professional as ever. Obviously, this past season with the whole Jimmy Butler scenario, which I did find it interesting that Pat Riley did talk about that. But it's also like, what do you want to, like, what did you expect him to say? I don't like when media members bring up the past over and over. It's like asking, it's like an Oilers media member asking Draisaitl what happened during Game 7 last year, a year later. Like, it was Game 7, June of 2024, we're in May of 2025. I don't want to, as a professional athlete, I genuinely don't care, and I don't want to hear it because it's in the past. And I could have said a million different things about it, and it still wouldn't have changed because the day already happened, and I already lost.
Jacob?
Listen, when the news came out that the Dallas Mavericks got the first overall pick, and then I realized that if he would have just lost that first playing game, we would have had potentially the first overall pick. I tweeted it out. I'm like, I was mad about it. But then I got to thinking, even if the Heat kept that pick and missed out on the playoffs, the Heat were not going to get the first overall pick. You know why? Because now it all makes sense. Nico Harrison gives Luka up to the Lakers
in exchange for the first pick.
And everybody's wondering, Anthony Davis and Jalen Hood Shafino, I think. I'm like, that's all you got for Luka Doncic? Like, what are we talking about? It didn't make sense at the time. Now it makes sense. You guys thought it was crazy. Now we see it. Oh, funny how it is. The team that had a 1.8% chance of getting the first overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks, somehow get the first overall pick. Buddy, I'm not going to say it on live, but I'm going to say it. But I'm going to say this. This is the most rigged thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Hold on.
That is the most rigged thing ever.
Jonka,
how do you make a trade that big and all of a sudden you go from being a playoff team to get with a 1.8
play-in team? Really? I mean, I guess you can consider the play-in a playoff, but
you got Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving.
Jonka, slow the train down here.
Bro,
what does this relate to Pat Riley and the Miami Heat? Aside from we could have had that.
Wait, hold on. Can we just understand the fact that Brandon did not join this? Bro, we're on 49 minutes and 36 seconds and counting, and I'm still waiting for Brandon to join, and he has not joined. Like the Celtics. Listen, I'm a diehard sports fan. When my teams lose, as a reporter and a fan, it does put me in a little bit of a mood for a second or two. But damn, Brandon, he must be crying tonight or taking a really freezing cold shower or something, because we're going on minute 50 and we still don't see Brandon.
Bro, Brandon's probably on his 5th Corona right now.
Yeah, he needed. I don't think he really wanted to face us today.
It's a sad day.
Yeah.
But I was rooting for Boston, so I mean, he's more than welcome to face me. I mean, what would happen though? And I know that we're going off topic right now, but we only have about 10 minutes left. But how crazy would that be if Jason Tatum did not tear his ACL and he's able to play on Wednesday, and Boston just goes on like this 3-1 road to a 7-game series win? I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, torn ACL. It looks like when they rolled him out in a wheelchair, that to me did not.
But it was around his ankle or Achilles.
Right, so maybe a torn Achilles because the Achilles is like the bottom part. Where
I was watching the replay, it didn't look like he twisted anything or like.
If anybody's able to watch a Boston Celtics post game tonight, maybe fire off inside of the comments what head coach Joe Mazzulla said, because I'd be curious to know. I mean, obviously we'll hear it from Shams Charania,
but yeah, going back to the Heat, yeah, I would have to agree with Brandon. Like, I don't think everybody's safe at the moment. I mean, but I think besides like Davion Mitchell and Nikola Jovic, I think maybe I'd keep Bam over Hero because of his defense.
I agree with you.
But overall, like, everybody's on the chopping block. Like, I don't care who you are. Besides those three people, you're all dead to me. No, actually, besides Kel'el Ware, if you can get Kel'el Ware for something good in return, okay, I'll make the trade. But I'm not getting rid of Kel'el Ware because right now, for some reason, they're moving Bam to the 4 now, other than where he started at the 5. So we have to keep Kel'el Ware. There's no way we're going to have to go draft another center. If we draft another center, I might shoot myself. I'm just letting you know right now.
wait, I mean, between Brandon saying, Jonathan saying that, and then Brandon saying Twin Towers, like we really,
hey, one's worse than the other, bro. Relax.
We really need to like tone down what we say.
But yeah, we need draft another center because they traded a center for another player, I might cry.
But it all goes back to what we said entering this 2024-25 season. What did we think the Heat were going to be? What did we think the Heat were going to do this season with the roster they had, with the off-the-court drama between Jimmy and the front? Between Jimmy and the front office, what did we think this Heat team was going to be? Did we think they were going to be this 55-win team that was going to shock the world and they're going to go all the way to the NBA Finals like it's 2023? Like, no, like that. I've said it plenty of times. The Jimmy Butler situation ruined the entire season.
Not just that. I just think also Pat Riley's pride got in the way of us potentially having a top 10 pick.
I mean, not to cut you off for a second, but I did find it funny too that Pat Riley was, had to throw out there that we've won 3 NBA championships and we've been to this many conference finals. I mean, yeah, but it's also like, are you the type of person to live in the past? Because I can tell you right now, if you're a person that lives in the past, like I don't want to be your friend because I don't want to hear about stuff that happened 4 or 5 years ago. Like, cool. I went to the Nike outlet store 5 years ago and bought really nice Nike dry fit socks. Like that. I hate how Pat Riley said that. Oh, well, just keep in mind we won 3 NBA championships and we've been to 8 or 9 Eastern Conference. Okay, cool. What have you done since the bubble? What have you done since the magical run to the finals in 2023? You got absolutely boat raced in games 3 and 4 of the first round series against a Cleveland team who, dare I say, is 1 win away from getting sent home by the Indiana Pacers. So was it really the Heat were that bad, or was Cleveland just that fraudy, I guess I can say, quote unquote, if that's even a word?
In 2020, we lost that series not because of Bam and Goran Dragic getting injured, but because we were too small. Yeah. Then we go on a couple years later, and we're going to play the Denver Nuggets.
Same problem.
They didn't address the issues, and we were too small again. Not enough.
Right. So this is like a Chris Greer problem. Fix the problem. I want to see if we're saying size is the reason why the Heat couldn't compete in the last 2 trips in the finals, then go after Giannis. Go after Hartenstein. Go after somebody. Go after Kristaps. You want to shoot for a home run? Go after somebody. But you have to get a big man if we're going to sit here and say that the last 2 Heat final appearances didn't go Miami's way because of size.
Would you guys welcome Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant is still one of the best perimeter shooters of all time. I don't know how healthy Kevin Durant is. I don't know where Kevin Durant's mind is. I mean, I guess I would say, yeah, I would be okay with it, but I don't think the Heat management wants to test out another player with an attitude problem, because I've seen Kevin Durant's very quick with his fingers on Twitter and stuff. Like, we already have Tyreek Hill. We really don't want to. We have that's more than enough. It's like the ex-girlfriend who never leaves you alone, because I've done it. Like, I still keep in touch with somebody that clearly doesn't want to keep in touch with me, and I still try and try and try. That's what Kevin Durant. He's a hell of a basketball player, one of the best perimeter shooters of all time. Like I said, I would welcome it. What would the Heat get in return for it? I don't know. Is Kevin Durant's mind want to come here to the Heat? I don't know. Does he want to play with Hero and Bam? Would Hero and Bam still be here if Kevin Durant is? I mean, those are all questions that we'd have to find out.
I think something that the Heat need to start doing is that, if, let's say, for example, I'm going to continue with the center position. If you don't have a good center, go out and trade for a center. In the draft, I think you should be only going for star players. I think that's all the draft should be, for star players, and everything else you could trade for. Would you say yes or no? Because all the Heat are doing in the draft is going for role players. They're not going for best player available. They're just going for what they need.
I don't really. I'm not ignoring you. I just, until the Heat actually go out there and do it. I mean, it's like I always said, easier said than done. Whether it's life or sports.
Like, they got Hero. Okay, we saw what Hero can do, but we need to find out another player just like that. But
I thought you have step forward. You've said multiple times, and I know we only have about three and a half minutes left. But you've said multiple times that Hero is just a role player. He's not a star player. He's a good role player. But we don't have that star anymore. We don't have a star anymore. I don't even. I mean,
is not that guy. Hero's not that guy.
But this might even be a bold take. I mean, are we going to consider Jimmy Butler a star? Yeah, there were some nice moments with the Heat, but he was off the court drama. Didn't want to take a team plane because he knew he was, or left the practice facility.
But that was after the fact, though.
Yeah, but even when, and then he got hurt, and I feel like in every playoff series after the 2020, he got hurt in 2024. Didn't he get hurt in 2022 and came back in the Eastern Conference Finals, if I'm not mistaken, against?
Got hurt this year and missed time until
got hurt this year. Well, we already knew this year that he wanted out with the whole contract dispute. So it's like.
Yeah, I think
Jimmy Butler's a hell of a player. I'm not saying he's not a hell, but are we going to sit here and again? It was a cool, Jimmy himself even said it. It was a cool 5-year run. I mean, that's how I kind of deem him, as the type of player he was during his 5 years here. It was a cool 5-year run. It wasn't like oh my God, Jimmy was the greatest thing ever since sliced bread. I don't view it like that.
I don't think we've had a star since D Wade and LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't argue that point at all. I mean, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, I mean, that big three era from 2010 to 2014 was, and I still wonder too, why did they break it up after the 2014? You know, they lost the 2014 finals to the Spurs, right? LeBron wanted out, or him and Riley didn't see eye to eye. I wish the Heat would have ran it back, because I would have loved to have seen the Heat gone back.
Warriors,
right?
If LeBron was upset because Riley was taking his cookies.
Yeah, apparently that.
Nobody's ever going to sit here and say that. You're saying the Heat haven't had a star since Wade and LeBron. I'm saying the Heat haven't had a star since Jason Capono. That's how.
Oh my
God. Now, with only 17 seconds left, all I'm going to say is this: prove me wrong. It's 3 words that I live by. I say it about Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer. I'm going to say it about Pat Riley. Prove me wrong. If you believe that your team can compete, if you believe that you're going to blow it up like you say you were, not blow it up. If you believe that everything's on the table and you're going to quote unquote make changes, Prove me wrong, make those changes, and then we'll hop on another episode and we'll all chat about it.
And my name is Brandon Ligori, and I approve this message. All right. Prove me wrong. That is going to be the words of the week.
And wait, but before we end this podcast, I know we didn't talk about anything Dolphins. I mean, there's not really anything going on with Dolphins right now besides like rookie minicamp. Did anybody see the F1 post that they had? It was Tua, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and they had Mike McDaniel. He was in like an all orange shoe with orange pants. How can you take this man seriously? Like, I'm sorry, but how? Like the Dolphins I haven't gotten I don't know if it's because I'm so negative on this guy that public relations probably sees what I post and they're just like, yeah, we're not giving him a credential. But like, we're going on the McDaniel's 4th year and he's still doing these crazy, like, dude, like, I'm done. I'm done for tonight. Don't get me going.
Don't forget May 14th, the NFL schedules come out.
Yep.
Look out for that.
We're going to be ready for that.
Well, I will say there is a leaked game already because I do follow a couple of verified accounts on Twitter that are very reliable sources. The Dolphins and the Commanders are going to be the Spain game, November 16th.
Yeah, I'll be praying for my Spanish people.
Yeah, bro. They're going to a massacre at Madrid.
That game's going to be November 16th, week 11. And that's been, I mean, it was in a Spanish newspaper. So you guys can come at me on Twitter and say, oh, who are your sources? It's been posted online. It's been posted on, I believe, the Joe Shad of the Palm Beach Post had written a story that it was published in a Spanish newspaper saying that the Dolphins and Commanders, I had a source on it last week already. So you can watch GMA tomorrow and they'll announce it. But I'm 99.9% sure it's Dolphins Commanders, the NFL's first ever game in Madrid, Spain. So,
bro, it's going to be called the Madrid Massacre.
Somebody did say that they think the opener is going to be Dolphins against Patriots. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's accurate.
That'd be crazy
on that. So I'm not going to sit here and say that's true. But the Dolphins Commanders Week 11 game is like 99.9% finalized. So, and
with that, we're wrapping up tonight. We hope that Brandon is okay after tonight's loss. We'll pray for him. We hope you guys enjoy your rest of the week. We'll see you guys next Monday for a brand new episode. And as always, thank you and follow all of our social media. Have a good night.